What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got a pretty huge Destiny 2 news update, and I mean literally, we've got so much stuff to talk about inside of this video. This is all official news from this week at Bungie, but Bungie give us some more words about the Forsaken DLC, some interesting stuff to talk about there. They give us a summer roadmap of all of the events we can expect to see. This includes GuardianCon and reveals for the Forsaken expansion that appear to be happening there. They talk about the Solstice of Heroes event. There's actually going to be a power level increase inside of Destiny 2 before the Forsaken expansion drops. The power level will go to 400 power. I'm going to explain how that'll work. It's linked to Solstice of Heroes and the Prestige raid layers. But we've got major Crucible changes and updates, then a deep dive into how Year 1 stuff is going to work inside of the collection system and general information about collections in the Forsaken expansion. So like I said, lots of stuff to talk about in this video. If you guys do enjoy this one, a like below is super appreciated. It really helps me out on the channel. But without further delay, let's jump straight into it. So first up, Bungie talk about the Forsaken expansion and of course all of the huge E3 reveals that have just happened. They speak about the death of Cade, the fact that they are reinforcing the hobby with Destiny 2, and that's really what the Forsaken expansion is all about. Scott Taylor does say there's a lot more to reveal this summer, including details on collections, triumphs, and the major sandbox changes we've got planned. They do say next stop is Tampa, Florida. We're packing our bags for some Gator wrestling and more Gambit action. Next week we'll share the full away team active roster along with what we have planned for our time at GuardianCon's main stage. So Bungie will be on the main stage at GuardianCon. They've also confirmed they'll be taking Gambit and the latest build of that to GuardianCon, so we may see some new stuff as well. But here they give us an update to the roadmap over the summer. This isn't the general roadmap for the game, but this is just timed events that'll be happening over the summer. So we can see the Faction Rally Winners Week right there. Next week we get Mayhem in the Crucible. It's also Bungie Day next week. You do tend to have some interesting stuff happen around Bungie Day. But then of course Iron Banner and GuardianCon, the final faction rallies for Season 3, and the July update, which will be dropping on the 17th. We do have to wait until July 31st for Solstice of Heroes though, but we do have a bit of information about how that is going to work, or at least in some respects. They do finish by saying they have an update for the development roadmap planned for early July, so we'll get more details before this actually drops on July 17th. But next they talk about raids and power level increases. So of course in update 1.2.3 they will be launching the prestige versions of both of the raid layers, so that's Spire of Stars and the Eater of Worlds. Prestige raid layers are going to use new activity modifiers and a new system of curated loadouts to challenge you in a new exciting way each week. So those curated loadouts are going to be a thing. This is actually going to be pretty important to the kind of end game that we'll get from the middle of the summer up till Forsaken though. So they talk about what we'll actually get. We believe players will be chasing after 3 pursuits in the summer prestige raid layers: 400 power weapons. The only way to get 400 power armor before Forsaken is by participating in the summer solstice event, but the only way to get 400 power weapons before Forsaken is by completing prestige Spire of Stars and Eater of Worlds. So that's 2 pretty huge bits of information. The Solstice of Heroes event itself will provide 400 power armor. I don't know whether that's going to be new exclusive armor to the event. I'm guessing there is going to be some exclusive gear inside of that event, but as they say, the only way to get 400 power weapons will be inside of both of these prestige raid layers, and that'll be all the way up until September. So essentially to hit max level, presumably that will be 400, you are going to have to get into those raid layers, otherwise you're pretty much locked out until September. I know there will be very mixed feedback on this, so I'm curious to hear what you guys think below. But they go on to say every time you complete all of the encounters in a prestige raid layer that week, you will be rewarded a 400 power raid weapon. This can be any raid weapon from Destiny 2, not just the weapons that drop in that raid layer. Raid armor ornaments. Each prestige raid layer has its own set of unique armor ornaments. An exotic masterwork catalyst. Both raid layers have a masterwork catalyst that can be found only as a rare drop in the activity. And as I spoke about the other day, we have the Sleeper Simulant, which comes from the Spire of Stars prestige raid layer, and then the Telesto, which will come from the Eater of Worlds. So like I said, actually quite a bit of information there. Power level is going to increase inside of the game in the update that we get in the summer. So there will actually be something to chase after if you want to hit the max level, you know, before Forsaken drops. Lots of exclusivity though and lockouts on those 400 power drops. They're trying to make them, you know, kind of a big deal, you know, to get one of these. It's going to be interesting though, because I'm not entirely sure if these are automatically 400 power. It sounds like they're going to be. So definitely a different kind of system. Pretty interesting. Like I said, let me know what you think. But they talk about curated loadouts. They say over the summer you might see combinations that require you to equip auto rifle, submachine gun, sniper rifle, or scout rifle, hand cannon, and rocket launcher. The loadouts are not locked inside of the prestige raid lair. You can bring tons of different guns into the lair and swap between them, as long as the gun meets the required curation. If you're doing Spire of Stars and the loadout is auto rifle, submachine gun, and sniper rifle, you might want to use Soros Regime, and this would be for Valcour Phase 1, but swap to Ghost Primus for Valcour Phase 2, so that you can equip Darcy for boss damage. So essentially what they're saying is, as long as it fits into the archetype, then you're good to go. We are shipping 3 activity modifiers that raid lairs rotate between. 2 of these modifiers are brand new and were built from the ground up by the raid team to work in the raids. The third is a fan favorite from Destiny 2, Prism. They don't give us specific information about the new modifiers, but they do say each of the modifiers is designed to provide Guardians with advantages over their enemies when they lean into it. So that's going to be pretty interesting, but they do a quick Q&A. Is anything happening to the prestige version of Leviathan? And they say no, it will stay as it is. Weapon curation and the modifiers only apply to Eater of Worlds and Spire of Stars. They do tease though in 1.2.3 it may be worth going back and playing some more Leviathan Prestige though to see if Callus has a new way to enhance one of your favorite exotic shotguns. So that's actually a hint to the Legend of Acreus. That one will come from the Leviathan raid. They confirm that Prestige raid lairs are not getting per encounter changes. They confirm that all of the Prestige raid activities will be active each week, so it isn't a rotation, or at least their availability isn't a rotation. And they say the plan is for both of these to go active with the modifiers immediately when the patch goes live. So lots of information there. Let me know what you think down below. I know that took a moment, but I'm trying to break it all down for you guys. Next though, they talk about costs and collections. They say that this week we're hitting a few of the most frequently asked questions about the upcoming collections feature. So I'll just run through these. Which items from year 1 inventory will collections track? And collections include any weapon, armor piece, ghost, ship, sparrow, emblem, or shader available in year 1 of Destiny 2. Is there anything I can dismantle before Forsaken launches? If you have an item in your inventory right now, you can safely discard it and retrieve it from collections in September. This does not include consumables, so hang on to those if they matter to you. So pieces of gear right now are being tracked already. You can safely delete stuff and the collection will know that you had it according to this. And they add that your collection will recognize everything you've been holding since the launch of Warmind. If you dismantled an item prior to the 8th of May, it will not be available within the collection. Next though, which items from year 2 can be reacquired from collections? And they say with the addition of random perk rolls to items starting in year 2, we had to make a tough call for collections. We investigated numerous options for gear with random perks, fixed collections perks, buyback limits, reroll mechanics, and many others, but each of these came with issues that impacted the collections experience in a negative manner. Ultimately, we decided to disable purchase of year 2 randomly rolled legendary weapons and armor. So essentially they're saying year 1 stuff stays fixed, which we had heard about before. They say they're currently working on the costs for item acquisition and will have more information at a later date, but they say they don't want it to be a currency sink and players won't have to deal with currency conversions. For example, if a shader dismantles into Glimmer, it costs Glimmer to reacquire. They add there will no longer be a cost to apply shaders to gear, so you don't have to pay anything anymore to actually put a shader on something. Next, they talk about power level though. In the collection, items will come out close to your current power level, but will require infusion to be ready for endgame activities. So essentially, you know, it'll be pretty close to your power level at some kind of cap, and you will be able to infuse it and bring it up. So it's good to know that stuff. Let me know any of your thoughts about it below, but we've got plenty of clarification over the kind of collection system and what we'll move into next year. Now though, we get a quick patch notes preview of what we can expect to become available when the update goes live on July 17th, and this is inside of Crucible mostly. So of course, they're increasing the player configuration to 6v6 inside of Quick Play. They're removing Supremacy from the pool of available game modes. There are also some smaller updates to Control and Clash. The bomb fuse timer and countdown has been lowered from 40 to 35 seconds. Rumble is going to become a full-time playlist, so that's definitely good. Supremacy will be added to the weekly featured playlist, updated to 6v6. and have a win score of 150. Here's some important stuff about Crucible ranks and in interacting with additional playlists. Players will be able to earn Valor rank from additional playlists, including competitive, Crucible Labs, Iron Banner, and Trials of the Nine. So the Valor quick play rank will also be active when you're actually working on competitive stuff and the Iron Banner as well as Trials, so that's definitely very good. Definitely incentivizes people a little bit more on some of those particular events. Joining a game in progress will protect your Valor win streak for that game, so you won't actually be losing win streaks if you join games in progress anymore. Players will be matched using their glory rank from now on, so inside of that competitive playlist, it means opponents will be of a similar rank to you. And glory loss streaks have been retuned to be less punishing over time. Consecutive losses will decrease the rank points lost instead of increasing, and streaks will still cap out at 5. They do say all rank streaks will no longer reset once they hit their cap. There are many more changes coming to Destiny 2 in July, and we'll be giving more patch note previews leading up to release, providing developer insights and commentary where possible. So that's the bulk of the kind of news stuff, guys. Definitely a lot of stuff in this week at Bungie. There are some other support bits about Lupus Visage, the Iron Banner emote, permissions and things like that in the game, some known issues with faction rallies. So I will link this week at Bungie down below, but let me know your thoughts, guys. Like I said, if you have enjoyed this video, a like is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. Also check out my sponsor Into the AM, they have some pretty awesome stuff in their store. Really cool clothing, hats, shirts, bandanas, hoodies, accessories, and a whole bunch of other stuff, plus you can save 10% using code Houndish, and the link for that will be down below. But for now, I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I will catch you very soon.